Welcome, people of the World Wide Web. So, as the title would presume, this is part 3 of me selling my Batman collection. If you're new to this channel and this series, I will just give you an overview of what's going on. So, a little while ago, I've been collecting, let's go back, I've been collecting about 8-9 years. My collection's got quite big, and every collector knows space is a commodity. I looked at my Batman animated figures that I'd had for quite a while. They don't stand really well, the stands aren't really great. I do like the figures, but I didn't love them, and I was on the fence of what to do with them. And I said, because they don't stand well and they fall over and stuff, and I kind of stuck them out in the corner, and I was like, I didn't feel that was the best need for them. So I did a video and I wanted people's inputs, and I had a few friends who'd watched it and they did personal message me and stuff, and said, like, do you love them and stuff. And this got me thinking. Basically, I do like the Batman animated series. I do have some of the DVDs and the movies. I don't love it to death. It's not what I remember when I think of Batman. When I think of Batman, because I'm a comic fan, I relate more to the comics and to the live action movies, which we've had quite a lot over the years. Because I like the comics, McFarlane universe, or the DC universe figures, I really like. I've got a few of them up in the area where the Batman collection was. And I actually really, I've got Gorilla Grodd, who's a really good looking figure, and I've got like a Batman and a Robin and stuff, and they look really good, and I like them. They display really well, they stand really well, they are quite big, and there's 20 quid a figure. I think it's 22 pound a figure, so it's not breaking the bank. So because I've cleared out loads of space, I have a few older DC figures that I've added in there, but I want to get a few more, and I decided that really, the Batman, I bought them for the sake of I bought them because I liked them. Over time I still do like them, but I don't love them, and really I want, let's get rid of them. So the first thing to do is to either sell them or to trade them. So what I initially did is I put them on eBay and I put them on Facebook. I tried to sell them as a lot. I went quite high because I'd researched into them, and as I go through this video, and if you're watching this, please do take into account what I'm saying, because this will become quite apparent that learning this stuff is quite useful. Whenever I look into a figure, I go onto eBay sold listings. So when you type in whatever the figure is and old, you go to the filters and you can scroll down, it says sold, and that's the price you want to gauge at it. Now, and I'll use other figures. So say like there's this figure that I recently got for £6. He may sell one day for 20 quid on eBay, and then there might be 7 other ones there that are 40 quid. All because he sold once for 20 quid doesn't mean he's worth 20 quid. If the majority are 40 quid, then that's the most average that you need to take off it. You will look, people might list this new complete and they might be trying to sell it for 70 quid. It just means the price on the market has gone up, but you really need to do sold listings because they're the ones that people are actually buying. I say you can look at the listings because there may be that there's one person selling one, so the only other option people have besides what you've got is this other listing, and that's what I looked at. So I'd gone in and looked over everything. I equated if I got my maximum value of every figure, and I had to be a little sorry, I just wanted to get, because I've written down all the price and stuff like that. Yeah, so I mean, there are some figures in the Batman series that are worth quite a lot. The highest one, complete boxed, sold recently for 120 quid. So it's like, so let's move that stuff up. Apologies about all this. So first there is list box. So we have a Krang figure. Like as I say, I put them on eBay. I put it quite high in the 400s. I had one person interested. I had a lot of watchers, and one person was like, I want these 9 figures, I'll pay 130 quid. Now, as I said, the ventriloquist, which is the most rarest figure that I have out of that, he sold for 120 quid boxed recently when I checked those prices out about a month ago. He's come down a little bit loose, which is understandable, but I would still expect to get, say, like £80-90 for him. That would be reasonable because that is what he's going for. And I believe of this video, looking, there's someone selling a loose one, and the only loose one on there for almost £100. What I checked yesterday. So it is an expensive figure, and this is something to look out for. So I say one personality wanted 9 figures. He said, I'll give you 130 quid. Then he went 150, or she or they. And then they wanted more for 200. And I was like, honestly, I say, I've gone through all the prices. I took, if it was a high one, so the ventriloquist, if you sold boxed for 120, but I didn't see any loose ones, I took 30 quid off. I was like, we'll say 90 quid. If it's cheaper ones, like some sold for 30 or 40 quid, I'd take like a tenner off to consider it, you know, and put those prices. And what I did is I added them all up. Now, all 19 figures I had, one was broken, and that come to £480. So I knew maximum, that's probably what I'd likely to get at the best. But this is what you need to do. You need to research your figures, research complete, and get a rough idea of what. And I'll come more to this. So I had no interest on Facebook. I only had this one person on eBay. So we went back and forth, but they were just asking too little. Look, I could have sold them just for a quick thing, but because I'd spent the time and effort and I knew what they were worth, I want to maximise my money because he wanted to take all the really expensive ones. So I spoke to some friends, I spoke to my comic book owner, and a few people recommended some places to trade. Now, a lot of those places to trade never came back to me. One did. They were very nice and well, you know, I sent them messages, I sent them pictures of the Batman stuff. I said I had other stuff as well, but and I went, yeah, bring it along, and we did, and that's what I did. Because I was then going to go trade, I was like, right, okay, let's put as much in. So like, you've got a reissue Perceptor here. You've got Mighty Ducks. You don't see them quite often. They are, you know, it's not a £5 figure. Let's put it that way. 2 complete Transformers, Generation Springer, and Titan Return Cup. A Toy Biz figure. I think I have his head, which he fetches quite a lot of amount with a complete one, so I have to look into him. And then what I've done is I literally went through each one. So this is the ventriloquist. This is the most expensive one. He is complete. He has everything there. I've boxed him up. I've inspected him, you know. This whole box is everything put together. So I say 19 figures in the box, 1 damaged. I think there was 3 figures that are missing 1 item. But I know that, like, I'm very transparent when it comes to these videos and stuff. So yep, so I had that. So that's part of what I took with me. Now, because I was trade, I was like, let's take as much as I can. I've got a lot of loose stuff. I might get some. So we have a box design up. He is complete. He's on sale now for 15 quid. So, you know, there is that. The rest of this box is Power Ranger stuff. Some mostly complete, some loose. There is a turtle. There is a few Masters of the Universe figures there. Again, they're not the most, some are not expensive. Some, if they were complete, would be 50, 60, 70 quid. But, you know, with the bits there, maybe 30, 40 quid. I have a Megazord that has some fists on there, and they're quite expensive with themselves. I've seen them sell for like 20 quid each. So, you know, it's here and there is stuff. So we had this box, which was, you know, Power Ranger stuff with a few little bits. And then finally I had like this box. So this is a Visionaries vehicle. There's another Power Rangers figure that is almost complete. And there's a few broken bits. So yeah, so that's everything I've got, you know, and as I said, I've gone through some of the figures. I know the most expensive bits in there are the Batman anime collection, because I assume like they've sold, and it's always good to do your research. So I turn up Saturday morning, get in the car, drive for an hour, get there, go in, guys are all nice, like, oh, I've got some stuff, I've messaged you, like, oh, that's fine, help me bring it in. One guy's kind of looking for it, and I explain like, this is sealed, this is sorted, you know, I've done quite a lot of hard work. And the other guy in there turns around and goes, you know, right, what I can do for you, I will offer you 40, that's 40 in cash, or 50 in trade. Now, when I was told that, my chin hit the floor. I was literally not expecting that. So I'm not going to name the place and the people or whoever, because that's not what I want about. This is to make you guys aware of this journey. So obviously that's what they turn around. So the first thing I say is, well, that's a bit surprising. Like, this figure he sells for over 100 quid box and probably close to 100 loose, and you want to give me 40 quid cash or 50 quid trade. And I've got 17 almost complete figures. I've got, as you've seen, other figures here, there, Power Ranger stuff. Yes, some of it is incomplete and damaged, and I don't expect, you know, but even if you tallied it up at, like, say, £5 a figure, which you would probably earn a lot of profit on. But no, that was their firm offer. I said, you know, they said, like, have you had any offers on it? I said, about 200 figures. I went, oh, you snatch that off. That is a bargain. But I wasn't sold on this. So I wasn't angry. Well, I was angry, but I didn't say that to them. What I did is I had a look around their shop that they worked in. I looked at what they had on there, and you say part of their reason, they said they need to inventory, they need to sort it out. Now, as you've seen, the Batman, the rules sorted out. Yes, they may need to double check everything, but I've done all the hard work there, and they even said that later, which seemed to be great. They said they would stick all these figures in these little clown boxes, which are the plastic ones. They would stick them on the shelf, and they'd sell for like £5 each. This is what he told me before I told him one of the figures was worth expensive. One of the guys Googled that one then. No reaction, no telling me I was right, no telling me that it was expensive. And before we start getting into am I right or am I wrong, I'm going to throw up a few sold listings of the 3 most expensive Batman figures that I have in the set. So it's Bullock, Ventriloquist, and Talia al Ghul. Now Talia's missing a weapon, but that's recently sold. So as you can see, like by sold listings, I could get 200 quid for those 3 figures alone. Cash. You know, on, yes, eBay with fees and something, it may be a little bit, say it's 20% less. Say it's 150 quid if you want to be, you know, I pay packaging, postage of packaging and everything. It's still 150 quid, 3 times what they offered me for 3 figures. And I brought 3 boxes of stuff. So I ain't going to take that. Annoyed that I've spent an hour driving there and I spent an hour driving back under, you know, not trading these in because I was expecting a decent amount. And by decent amount, I say, the reason why I research stuff, and this is what I want this video to help people, is that I looked at, you know, in an ideal world, going by this list of what they've sold, I would potentially have got 480 quid if I was maxed out on eBay and I got the top listings for everything, roughly what they are. And that's in an ideal world, and I didn't say that would happen. Now, if I'm going to sell them, I'm nowhere going to get that amount. You know, you will get more in trade, which is why I offered the trade option, which I thought I would get more, you know. But I was expecting 50% of it, you know, a few hundred quid, and then all the other stuff in like 300-400 quid is what I was hoping, is what I'd realistic, because they could take it in, the Batman stuff sorted. They sell stuff close to eBay prices or even more. The quid's in. I've done most of the work, which I didn't, you know, and staff complaining that they have to inventory them. I've been in that shop before, and they've tried to sell me stuff that's just come through the door that's dirty for about 50% more than what I bought items off on eBay. And I'll use example, the Mask Rhino. They had one, it was like they wanted 120 quid for it. I found one off eBay, better condition, and it cost me 80 quid with fees and everything else put on. So, you know, and I'm not begrudging them of their prices, because, you know, they're a shop, they've got overheads, they've got staff, they've got electricity, gas, they've got all these other things to pay, so the figures will be a little bit more. So I said, you know, reaction, I walked around, I took my time, I looked at what I had in the thing, because I was like, well, maybe I'll buy something while I'm here. So I walked around, I said, I'm seeing Transformers that are being sold at Smith Toys loose, for the same price that Smith's Toys said them, maybe even a little bit more. And I used the one they had, the Air Razor Smith's Transformer Eagle from the Rise of the Beasts. I think it was £24 they were selling that figure for. I think it goes box now 20 quid in Smith's Toys. You know, I looked at their clamshells. They had a G.I. Joe one. It was a generalised soldier. He had no accessories. He was £18. So this out of the box is being on sale for 15 quid. They could sell it for 15 quid, and I'm sure someone will pack it up, because obviously they ain't got to pay postage of packaging. It's there. They're matching their rivals. You know, you're selling it for 15 quid. At least give me a fiver. But no, you know, 40 quid for everything. So as I say, I went round and noticed it, and I walked away disappointed. And So that puts me in a bit of a predicament. Is it, what am I going to do for my collection now? And what am I going to do with the Batman now I'm stuck with it? So I'm not stuck with it. The deciding is I've done most of the hard work. So what I've done is I've reached out. I've split it. The three most expensive figures, so the ventriloquist, Bullock and Talia al Ghul, Leia, are on eBay at the minute. I'm bidding first. Ventriloquist is up to £41 of this video recording. That is already my money there from one figure, and I guarantee you he will probably go between 70 and 80, I suspect. You know, that one figure alone will earn me more money than everything else, and for what I would have traded in everything else. I'm gonna and everything I've sorted stuff out. I put it on Facebook, and I'm going to try and continually sell them. And with this video, I'll hopefully have an update of how much I make out of all of this. Looking at the way it goes, if the three figures sell for what I've reserved priced them at, again, like the listings I put up, they'll probably sell for about 200 quid. So I'm going to be quids in just those three figures alone. The reason for doing this video, and I say I'm not highlighting anyone, I know I've been to many shops, and when you go to shops, they do sell stuff that are more expensive than other places that are online. They do have stuff for cheaper. They have overheads. My just frustration is the fact that I did a lot of the work, presented them with something, and watching videos online and stuff, if I give you a figure and it's worth 100 quid, and I know it's 100 quid, and you can look online quickly and see it's worth 100 quid, then trade, I would expect 50% of that would be, 50-60% is a fair enough thing. You are that's 40 quid you've earned, and I brought it into you. You've not really had to do much work, and yes, you employ your staff, £10 an hour. It wouldn't take long for you to go through the three boxes I have and probably pick out and go, actually, we can make 300-400 quid off this. Maybe even if it's 100 or 200. You'd probably make more. And if I'd given it to them for 50 quid, they probably would have made 400 or 500 quid off it, which is, to be honest, getting 20% of what the overall price roughly is. That's ridiculous. It's very put me off doing trades. It was going to be my first ever trade, and to be honest, unless it's with another person, I'm very likely I have sold stuff before. I had a load of Ghostbusters stuff when I was a kid that I sold. It was all bits, Brad, and I got 150 quid for that, and that was 6 years ago. And that was junk. I can tell you that. Ecto-1 missed most of the parts. A few broken dinosaurs and a few Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figures, and they weren't the soft heads. They weren't the original ones. They were the generic ones, and a few, I think, Transformers in there. Again, stuff that isn't worth a lot, and I got 150 quid. So to say, I'm not bitter about this situation, but I just want people to be aware, like, when you have stuff to sell, look at eBay sold listings, get a gauge of how much this stuff is worth, and then when someone wants to buy it off you, go in with real, yes, you might take it to the shop, they may all be complete, and they may go, yeah, we could have given you 600 quid for everything if it was all complete. Okay, fair enough. But what I'm going to end up selling them individually, and yes, I'm doing a little bit of work, it is not massive, to get 80% of the profits on what they've offered you, I think is very disrespectful. But that's it. I say, this is just, hopefully you are watching this video, have watched this video, or enjoying this video, learn something. I say, just don't go for the quick buck. Don't go for, I want to get rid of it. Oh, that sounds fine. As I say, the fact I showed them, I've organised it, they give me excuses of what they would sell, and I get they have overheads, but I think it was it didn't match up. I said, walking around that shop, selling those figures for 1-2 quid, it's like, no, you would have sold them for 5 to 10 quid each. 18 figures, say you sold them at 10 quid each, that's 180 quid. You're offering me 40 quid for that, so you want 160 quid profit. I think that's very disrespectful to customers. But it is what it is. That was my experience. There will be a part 4. Hopefully I will update you in a few weeks when the eBay listings have sold and I've started to sell a few of the individual ones, and I'll try and give you an updated price of how much I'm actually earning. Obviously I'll take fees and that off it, and we're going to put it against the 40 quid cash or the 50 quid trade, and we'll see what we actually come out with. Otherwise, I've been Cypher Sigma. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I shall see you in the next one.